And as you can see, I have a wonderful guest this morning. It is Representative Erica Crawley. Hi, Erica.
Hey Tom, how are you?
Great. Thank you for getting up early. So I really appreciate you starting it out with us. And we were chatting before we started. I don't usually read a bio, but I have to do this. I have to read your bio. It is on the website, and of course, it's Representative Erica Crawley of the 26th District. And I just want to read it real quick because I. I just blown away. I remember when I first met you, and I remember the early days when you were running for office. And I remember that you were a little nervous about asking for money. And I'm like, if Erica can be nervous about asking for money, then wow, because you have so much to offer, and you are. So let me read this real quick. It says, State Representative Erica Crawley is a mother, advocate, and veteran. She currently represents Ohio's 26th House District, which includes much of eastern and southeastern Columbus. Originally from Youngstown, Representative Crawley's family reflects the diversity, success, and struggles of families in Ohio. She is a first-generation college graduate obtaining a Bachelor of Arts degree in criminology with a focus on juvenile delinquency from Cleveland State University. She holds a master's degree in public administration from Walden University. Representative Crawley has spent much of her life making a difference by serving others and giving people a voice through her service in the U.S. Navy and in her work advocating on behalf of children and families with the Cuyahoga County Job and Family Services. I'm going to skip a little bit because it will take forever. While attending Capital University Law School in pursuit of her dream of becoming an attorney, Representative Crawley served as a junior fellow for the Family and Youth Law Center, Representative of Illinois, Representative and Day Vice President of the Black Law Students Association, Co-President of the Health and Law Society, American Bar Association, Representative to the Student Bar Association. I can keep going and going and going. Erica is a mother of twin girls and enjoys spending time with them and traveling with family and friends. She collects books and is an avid reader. I don't know when you find time to read. Erica, wow, it's just amazing, all the things that you've accomplished and all the things that you do, and that you're serving in office in this at this incredible time. And I want to thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and drop off the screen. I'm going to turn this over to you and let you share your values and your superpower with everybody. And I can't wait to hear it.
Thank you, Tom. I truly appreciate it. I just want to say thank you for continuing to do these 7 minutes at 7:07. It is really inspiring. And as I said before we came on, really brings light in a time where there's a lot of darkness and sadness. And I've tuned into a few of them and have been inspired by your guests. So with that, because I know 7 minutes goes really fast, just thank you for allowing me to share my values. And as you see, in the picture, I have a lot of different pictures, but at the top of that is family. In the one picture in the middle with a group of people, that is my family and extended family. This was a picture that was taken at a dinner that my sisters hosted for me right after I won my election in 2018. There are a few people missing, but you have my mom, my dad, my sisters, cousins, and then you also have my daughters there. I have twins, as you mentioned, Hope and Faith, and they really are my world. They give me life, they give me purpose, and they give me meaning. And then next you see community up there in the circle. And I really value community for three reasons. The first is community reminds me of what I am and what I'm committed to. I am committed to something that is bigger than myself, and that is our next generation of leaders and their success. I am committed to, leaving my community better than how I found it for our next generation. So you see a picture of me in the community, talking with my community members. That was a dinner about why we love our city and why we love Columbus and what we would love to love about Columbus. And then there's another picture of a group of sixth graders that were I had an opportunity to speak to at Indianola Informal K through 8 school. And then the second reason why community is important to me is because I am reminded of who I am and who I will stand up for. So you see a picture of me wearing a t-shirt that says, "I can't breathe." And those were the last words that Eric Garner spoke as he was in a chokehold by the cops in New York, and where he subsequently died. And we also know that those were some of the last words spoken by George Floyd: "I can't breathe." And so I will stand up for my community and fight for Black lives to matter. And then the third reason why community is important to me and why I value it so much is because definitely reminds me of who I am. So there is a picture up there with me and my friends. We were in Georgia in a sunflower farm. And then you also see a picture with me and Representative Sykes, Minority Leader Sykes, Representative Stephanie House, and Juanita Brent holding a sign that says, "We belong here." And so when I am feeling insecure or have imposter syndrome and it shows up severely, they remind me, about who I am. And when I'm feeling that way in the State House, or not coming from a political background, or when I'm in a space, in the legal space, where I'm the only person, or it might be with one other person who looks like me, my community reminds me that I too belong there. And then next you see in the circle that I really value authenticity. I really believe that when we are authentic about who we are, it calls us into being. It calls us into our purpose, and we are able to show up as our full authentic selves when we can be honest about who we are and releasing any story that we have about who we are. It really leaves others moved, touched, and inspired, and it creates the space where other people can do the same and they can show up as themselves. And then in the next circle, I have grace. I really value grace. And I think all of these are connected. And especially when I talk about authenticity and being able to show up as my full authentic self, that, when other people have the opportunity to do the same, we tend to judge them less. I know I want to be judged less. And that's why for a very long time, I felt like I was perpetrating a fraud, and I didn't want people to know who I was, or the life experiences that I had, or the family in which I came from that had a lot of adversity, because I didn't want to be judged by it and by those things. But now I know, after running for office and really developing my story of self and my why for running, that people want to know that others are relatable and humans, especially their elected officials, and that we have life experiences that are the same, and we hold the same values. And so when we are our authentic selves, then we tend to give people grace, and we are less offended by what others do or say, because we have patience, empathy, and understanding. And then my superpower is to be an encourager. I think when I open up myself to others and share who I am, and others are able to share with me who they are, I am encouraged, and then they are encouraged. Jim Siegel last year, and God rest his soul, he passed away, wrote an article about me as soon as I came into the State House. It was on the front page of the Dispatch. It was a time when I was very vulnerable. Like I said, I was just coming into the State House, and after the paper was released on Sunday, for about 2 weeks, I wouldn't even read it because I was nervous about how people received me and why I was in the State House. But after I got past that nervousness and being vulnerable, I had so many messages and emails and messages on my website or on social media where people were really encouraged, and they felt like, I was able to give them a voice, and that they were no longer limited by the things that they had experienced, that they were empowered by me sharing my story, and that they were encouraged to, fight past the barriers that they may have created, or like life had created, and, go for their dreams and goals, and really make a difference in their community. So thank you for allowing me to share.
It was amazing. Oh, wow. Oh, I have to ask you, I mean, first of all, that's just beautiful. Thank you for sharing all that. And I have to say, I hear so much humility from you as well. And, it's amazing to me. You have so many accomplishments. You've done so much, and you're obviously I mean, you're so real, you're so authentic, and you're obviously a good person, right?
I
And
try to be.
you are, and yet you're in a great role model, and yet that the humility is, I got to tell you, Erica, it's so refreshing because,
Oh,
I mean,
thank you.
especially as a politician, there's so many stereotypes of politicians, and I love the fact that you are representing us. I love your humility as you speak. And thank you for that. I think that's another gift that you give, because
Thank
because of, I mean, again, you have so much, so many accomplishments to share. So I really appreciate that as well. And I've gone a little long today on purpose. I would love to hear how you're feeling in this moment, which is just with the pandemic and with the social justice movement and who you are.
you.
Tell me how you're feeling in this moment.
Um, so just honestly speaking, I think there are times when it's very overwhelming. I have, as we've been having the Ohio Promise Tour and a lot of Zoom meetings, I have been overwhelmed by the number of people who have been reaching out because they still don't have their unemployment. They don't have, they're losing their homes. They don't have food to eat. And that's a lot. And I've been able to see the limitation of my service and my ability to make a difference in the state house because I can't wave a magic wand. There are people who have been waiting 18 weeks for unemployment, and we have a system that isn't able to handle that. So it's overwhelming. It's sad, but then I am inspired. I'm inspired by the people who continue to march. I'm inspired by you, as I said, who you continue to have these. Seven, which creates a space to let people know that all isn't lost. Hey there, it's so good to see you. Where people can just be hopeful and inspired that the world isn't necessarily coming to an end, even though when we watch TV it does seem that way. That there are really people out here who believe in goodness and want the best for other people and aren't selfish and self-centered. So it's overwhelming and sad at times, but definitely I'm still hopeful.
Thank you. As am I. Thank you for your service. Another example. You're another example of someone you could really go out there and make a lot of money if you wanted to. Frankly. You could make a lot of money out there, and it just amazes me when I talk to folks like you, public servants, who I know what public servants make, and it's not what it's about, right? And it's about making a difference. And just thank you so much for making such a big difference, for using your superpower, living your values, being a great role model. My girls never come down; they're usually sleeping, and I'm so glad they came down while you were talking and they got to hear you. And
it's good to see them. It's so good to see them.
Well, thank you for what you're doing, Erica. I'm going to continue to follow you. I hope you keep at it for a long time. We need you. We need you. We need you. Right?
Oh, thank you, Tom, and thank you and Rick for always supporting me. And like I said, I'm inspired by you all and your girls. They're about to be tennis champions and superstars. And so thank you for posting the pictures of their success too. So thank you.
Absolutely, and thanks for being a great mom too.
Oh,
I know it ain't easy, right?
It's not, but like that's what gives us purpose. So it's worth it in the end.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us today. And Erica, remember, even when it's really cloudy out, the sun is always shining.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tom.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.